Okay, this is the second assignment's solution manual. I just posted the grades for this assignment, and I'm gonna record a quick video that how it is came out to be 22 as duration for this network. And as you see, we have most of the time finish to start relationships. However, in two unique occasions between C and D and H and I, we have start to start. So the very first thing I will do is I will start doing a forward pass, and I will start with the activity A because it is our first starting activity. So I'll let me get a text tool here. Okay, so this is our early start for activity A. So therefore the very first thing I'm going to be able to calculate is my early finish. So 0 is the early start plus the duration 3. So therefore the early finish for activity will be 3. So I just put 3 as my early finish in that activity. Now, who are the successors for this activity A? B and C are the only ones. So therefore it will be easy for me to put 3 for early start for activity B and 3 for activity C. Alright, from here let's go to activity B and let's do our forward pass. 3 plus 2 is going to become 5 for early finish for activity B. 3 plus 5, it will become 8 for activity C. Now here is the challenge where it comes to the D. The early start for D is not going to be an 8 because this is a successor for activity C, but they are in a start to start relationship. So therefore the early start for activity D must be 3 in this example. Okay, and the reason for this is instead of using 8 we are using 3 is this specific relationship assigned to this activity. So early start for activity D will be 3, and 3 plus 2, then therefore it will be 5 over here for the activity D for early finish. Alright, so since we are added, we can proceed from here, and early start for the G would be 5, and 5 plus 3, it will be 8 for the early finish. And don't forget, I'm doing a forward pass, so only the top 2 sections, the early starts and early finish boxes, can be filled during the forward pass. Okay, so I will stop here because the J has 2 activities attached to that. So what else I can fill out? For example, E. It has only one predecessor, which is B, so 5 can be written as the early start for this activity. 5 plus 5, this will be 10. Okay, and when it is 10 for H, there will be only one predecessor, which is E. I is not predecessor for H. E is the only predecessor. So therefore this will be 10. 10 plus 4 will be 14, and then K's early start will be 14. 14 plus 5, this will be 19 for K, and I will stop here because M has more than one predecessors. So I'm going back to the more difficult activities, so with the activities with more than one predecessor, such as F. F is being affected by B and C, and early start has 2 options. It can be either 5 or it can be 8, which is gonna be. So what we do is we have to think like this. If I start F at day 5, am I breaking any rules? Yes. Why? Because C is still going on at the day 5, so you cannot start. So in order F to start, these two predecessors must be completed. So even though you finish at the day 5, you have to wait for C to complete as early as possible, which is 8 in this case. So therefore the F early start has to be 8. Okay, so this is how you are interpreting this back and forth, or which one to choose. All right, now we will 8 plus 3, it is gonna be 11. Okay, now we will come to before I want to jump to this J, because now I have 11, I have 8. Now the same logic applies for activity J. I cannot start the J at the day 8 because F is still going on, so therefore this early start must be 11. Okay, if this is 11 plus 5, this will be 16. Okay, so we came to L, so I will stop here, and now I'll go back to my I, the activity I. Now activity I has two predecessors. One of them is F and the other one is H. Now which one to choose? Now I see that it is start to start. If it is start to start, it can be the 10th day early start, right? Because they can start at the same time. Or the 11. Which one I need to go? I need to go with 11. So therefore, because if I start this I on the 10th day, F cannot even start or finish yet. So therefore I need to wait for F to complete in order to be able to start I to meet both requirements. So therefore this will be 11. So 11 plus 3, this will be 14 for early finish for activity I. Now it's gonna come to the L. I have 14, I have 16. By now you understood that when we are doing forward pass, which is when we are calculating the early start and early finish for activities, when there is two predecessors, we are going with a bigger number 6. So the 16th day is the early start for activity L. 16 plus 4, it will be 20. So 20, 19. So early start for the activity L would be 20. 20 plus 2, it will be 22. Oops. For the early finish for activity M. So we completed our forward pass. What is left? Now we need to be able to complete the backward pass. So we are going to go backwards, start from M to A, and we're going to calculate the late finish and late start dates for each activity. All right. So the latest finish for an activity M will be 22, which will be identical with its early finish. 22 minus its duration, it is 2. 22 minus 2 will give us 20 as its late start. Okay. Now K and L, they will receive the same 20 as late finish in their late finish areas, right? So they will be identical because there's only one. Even though it's certain for both, there's only one number that we can plug into this late finish areas. So 20 minus 5, this will be 15. 20 minus 4, it will be 16 for activity L. Okay. Now when we come to I, all right, so what is gonna be? L is an successor for I, so therefore its late finish will be 16 because L is affecting the I. Alright, so 16 minus 3, this will be 13. Okay, and also J is a predecessor for L, so therefore its late finish will be also 16. 16 minus 5, the latest start date for J will be 11. Okay, now this is how we're gonna decide on what to put in the late start for late finish for the activity H. So activity H has two successors. One of them is K, one of them is I. So it has 15 and it has 13, right? So since this is a start to start activity, all right, you have two options. This is where it is important. The latest finish, okay, latest start for K can become a latest finish for activity H, which will be 15 here, right? Or you can choose number 13 as latest start, so their latest start would be same with H and I, so you would plug 13 here. So which one to choose? If I choose 4, then this would become 17, right? 13 plus 4 would be 17 if I go with the latest start of I. If I go with the 15, which is activity K's late start, became the late finish for H, 15 minus 4, it would become 11. So which one to choose? This is the decision point. If I choose the number 13, if I go with the I, it will become 17 and you would be already late for the activity K. Okay, because you are K, the latest start is the 15th day. If it was 17th, then you are already late for 2 days, so therefore it would violate this relationship. So therefore how about 11? If I start the latest date as 11, okay, you can still keep this relationship because I can start till the 13th day, so it doesn't violate the relationship. So therefore we go with this 15 for late finish for the H and 15 minus 4, 11 for the late start for activity H. I hope it was clear how we decide on those two numbers. If you still have questions, please let me know so I can elaborate further. All right, so and after this it becomes pretty straightforward. If it is 11 here, E activity is late finish would be 11 minus 5, it will be 6 here. Okay, then we are looking at F, because I will stop here. B has two successors, so I need to be able to identify what will be the latest start and latest finish for F in order to solve this. So I'm jumping back to my J. So if the J's latest start is 11, F and G would receive 11. Why? Now the 13, okay, and 11. So you cannot put 13 here, because if you latest finish is 13, you are already late for starting the J at the 11th day. So therefore we choose the smaller number here as 11. Okay, and G, it's straightforward, it gets the day 11th as the latest finish. 11 minus 3, this will be 8 for G, and from the G I can put 8 on activity D as 8. 8 minus 2 would become 6 here. So I'm not going to jump to C yet. Alright, so 11 minus 3, it will be 8. Okay, so if it is 8 and I have 6 here, so therefore B has to finish at the day 6 in order E to start on the latest start as 6. 6 minus 2, this will become 4. Okay, and I will stop here because there are 2 successors of A to decide which one to go, and then it will come to C. Just like H and I relationship, it's the same decision point. So I can put the latest finish as 8 here. Okay, then it will become day 3 for latest start. However, if I put the latest start as 6 from the D, because they are in start to start relationship, 6 plus 5, it will become the latest finish would become 11, and it would violate the start of F, because you have to start F on the 8th day. So therefore activity C's latest finish becomes 8. 8 minus 5, it becomes 3 for the latest start for activity C. So I can just erase these notes. I'm just using Adobe, so it is making hard to type it, but that's okay. And then we will come to our activity A, which is 4 or 3, and we know that we are going with the smaller number, so therefore latest finish will be 3 for activity A, and the latest start would be 3 minus 3 would be 0, so you would complete. So it will be we completed all those elements 0 trees, and with the forward pass, with the forward pass, the top ones. So we can say, I can put something like this, and these ones are calculated based on backward pass. Alright, so what else is asking in the question? Calculate early start, early finish, late start, and late finish for all activities, which we did. Okay, then it's asking us to come up with a what do you call total float. Okay, so total float, we already know that total float equals late start minus early start, or late finish minus early finish. So therefore we can start from each activity, because all the early start, early finish, late start, late finishes are identified. So I'm just go at text. So this box is dedicated for total float. So 3 minus 3, it becomes 0. Okay, late finish minus early finish, or late start minus early start. This is total float for the activity. Okay, the slack. So this will tell us what will be our critical activities will be, I would say. Okay, let me change this color so we can distinguish this from others. So I can make it a little bit bigger for you to better see. Okay, it will be 0. Alright, then I can just follow the suit. B is 6 minus 5, it will be 1. Okay, and if it is C, 8 minus 8, it is 0. For D, it is 8 minus 5, the total float will be 3. For activity E, 11 minus 10, or 6 minus 5, same thing, it will be 1. Okay, then for activity F, 11 minus 11, it will be 0, which make this activity critical. For activity G, 11 minus 8, it will be 3. Okay, for H, 15 minus 14, it will be 1. Okay, for activity I, 16 minus 14, 2. 13 minus 11, 2. So therefore this will be 2. Okay, for J, 16 minus 16, it will be 0, which is a critical activity. For K, it will be 20 minus 19, it will be 1. For 20 minus 20, it will be 0 for L, which makes it critical. And 22 minus 22, it will be 0, and therefore this activity is also critical. So based on this, we identified our critical activities. So if I just place some items, what are the critical activities? A, right? Oops. C, F, I keep forgetting the, okay, then J is another critical activity, then L, and finally M is a critical activity in this network. Are we done? No. So there is one more thing we need to calculate for each activity, and it is called free float. As you know, free float is the amount of time you can delay a certain activity without delaying the start of a successor activity. Alright, that's the difference between the free float and the total float. So we're going to calculate it for A. So A has two successors. So for the free float is the early start of a successor activity, which in this case B is 3. 3 minus 3, it is 0. Or it can be C versus A, 3 minus 3, it's 0. So therefore we can say that the free float for activity A is 0. Alright. For B, we have this is interesting because it has two successors. Okay, and for both successors it will be 5 and 8. So for B and E relationship, the free float for B is 0. 5 minus 5 is 0. Okay, but for activity F, it is 8 minus 5, which is 3. So do we have the luxury to push or to delay activity? No, because if we delay this activity B, we will violate, or we will have to delay the start of activity E. So therefore we cannot violate this relationship. So therefore, even though there is a 3-day float between B and F, the free float for activity B would be 0. Okay, so we're going to continue with the same thing. H for free float for E is 10 minus 10 will be 0, and for D it would be, since we are talking about the successors, right, oh, for C, it has two successors. It can be either 8 minus 8, which is 0. So if there is more than one successor and either of them is 0, you can automatically put a 0, because you cannot violate that relationship. So I don't even worry about take a look at this C and D. Okay, and if it is a smaller number, if it wasn't 0, it was 1 and 2, you have to go with the smaller number as free float, because you cannot delay more than the small number, because otherwise it would violate that early start for the activity. And for the D, it is 5 to 5, it will become 0. And for G, it will be 3, because this is the only successor. G has 11 minus 8, it will become 3. Okay, so for F, it has two successors, but due to this I relationship, 11 minus 11, so it cannot be delayed. It doesn't have any free float, it will be 0. Okay, for L and for J, it will be 0, because 16 minus 16 would make this 0. And for I, L is the only successor that I connects to, so 16 minus 14, this would become 2. Okay, and for H, it has two successors. One of them is I, one of them is K, but I already see from here that I cannot delay H. H cannot have any free float, because the early start of K minus early finish of H is 0. So 14 minus 14, it will be 0 here. Okay, so and for the K, 20 minus 19, that would become 1. Alright, and for L, 20 minus 20, it would become 0. And there is no free float for M, because there is no successor, so we will just put 0. You cannot delay the M, and it's a critical activity anyway, so it wouldn't be wise to delay this activity. So I hope this was clear as a solution manual for this assignment 2. And I already graded, as I said, I already graded this assignment and posted the grades. Most of the people answered correctly, but some of you have little difficulty with the start-to-start relationship. Instead of 3, some people put 8, because I believe they neglected this relationship, I would say. So based on this relationship, this early start must be equal to activity C's early start, same as for H and I. So I'm gonna post this to Canvas, and if you have any questions or further elaboration, please let me know so I can answer those questions. Thank you, and I will see you next week. Have a good day.